I am not a teacher of Vedanta, I'm a student. And to be frank, this is the first time I've talked on a video, particularly for the internet. So you're going to have to forgive me if I'm somewhat, or sound somewhat awkward or artificial. Talking into a camera has its difficulties, but hopefully as we go along, I'll get used to doing this more. What I want to talk about is a key Vedantic principle, and it says this, that basically you are the problem and you are the solution. Now when we first hear this, this can sound maybe a little bit bland, or we don't necessarily get the importance of what is being said. So what I want to do is I kind of want to unpack that so that becomes clearer. Now the first thing that we know as human beings is that we tend to react. We have a psychological past that's been built in us and formed in us. And when in our day-to-day life, this past becomes active. We react. Someone does something we don't like, or a situation is as we don't like it, and we find ourselves reacting. Now the interesting thing here in terms of what our background consists of, Swami Dayananda says that the most important part about this background is, first of all, our being hurt. We've been hurt by others, or we've been hurt by events, and this is hurt. The other main aspect of this psychological background that we have is that we've hurt others. This is one sort of aspect that we don't necessarily like to look at, but we have hurt others. Now, the difference between this and Western psychology is that it says that we are the problem. Now, this background is not considered the problem. What is considered the problem is the sense of I. So when this background reacts, it always reacts as a sense of I. I am confused, I am angry, I am lonely, I don't like this, I like this. And so what happens is we have this psychological activity going on all the time, and we're experiencing either ego inflation of various kinds, or we're experiencing ego deflation. So when someone maybe treats us exactly the way we want, or is impressed by us or something, we might feel that wonderful sense of, my goodness, am I wonderful, or life is going good now. Or the next moment someone may say something that we don't particularly find nice, and we find ourselves, in a sense, ego deflated. So our psychological life is made up a lot of the time with this kind of emotional reactivity, but it's always arising. So our psychological background, I should say, arises as a sense of I in the present. So I am unhappy, I'm happy, I'm confused, I wish this wasn't here, if only I could just do this, I don't know why I always keep making these mistakes, why do people treat me like this? It goes on and on. And the thing is that we're experiencing ourselves either in a positive way, which in our culture we like, I'm pretty good, I'm pretty intelligent, I'm pretty marvelous, I'm better than other people, this type of thing, or we're experiencing ourselves in a deflated sense, in the sense that I'm stupid, I'm lonely, I just can't do this, I'm pathetic, I'm such a fool, I'm such an idiot, I just wish people didn't realize what an idiot that I am, whatever it is that happens. But irrespective of this, we have this continual reactions or reactivity to people. And this psychological background is formed in us when it's basically programmed. We don't form our background. It is formed in us through experiences. And it is fairly much programmed. We don't have control over it. So what happens is that when someone says something we don't like, we find ourselves getting angry. We don't decide to get angry, just the programming, the dramatization of a certain kind of person that we take ourselves to be automatically begins. I am angry. Why did they do that to me? How dare they speak to me like that? Or, oh, I wish they wouldn't talk to me like that. People are just so cruel. But the point is that in terms of our, what happens is we feel very, very victimized, in the sense that we feel that people and events are hurting us, are causing us to be the way we are. So I am angry, I am sad, I am anxious. And normally the big ones for human beings is I am sad, I am anxious, or I'm hostile. These tend to be the... But it's not that I have a problem with, because this is where Vedanta is different than psychology, it's not that I have a problem with anger. It is I am angry. Or it's not that I have a problem with anxiety. It's I am the one who is anxious. Or it's not that I have a problem with sadness. It's I am the one who is sad. So we can see from this that what happens is that our sense of I is always there, and it's either in a positive sense or a bad sense, or what we consider a bad sense. So it's either positive or negative. And it's formed in us when we're little, mainly. The Freudians are right about this one. Like the psychological reactions, the basis of them is the past. And they're incredibly deterministic, in the sense that what is the basis of the reaction is not the present events. It's a resuscitation of either hurt or guilt or whatever. And from that arises a sense of identity, a sense of I. Now, so it's sort of like you could say that really what it is, it's like programming. It's it, and at this stage when it's formed in us in the beginning, we have no, as I said to you, it's just simply formed in us, and we find ourselves reacting. And it's a very personal standpoint. I am upset, and it's very reactive. It's not like we don't choose to do this. Now, when we look at a human being, we're very, very similar to animals in this by four things. I was just thinking of a talk that Swamini Atma Prakasananda gave recently, where she said that we're like animals in the sense that we want to sleep, we want to reproduce, we want to eat, and we're fearful. But it's an extremely important thing to understand that there is three main things that differentiate us from animals. Animals are blindly programmed. They're biologically programmed. Whereas we are biologically programmed, but as I've just said, we are psychologically programmed. So because of this, whenever we try to do something about ourselves, we just keep on repeating the same types of things. Our life doesn't change because the same types of experiences come about. Now, in the next capsule, I will go through what it is that is basic to being a human being, because this is not created by our psychological past, and it's from this basis that we can build an entirely different life. So I'll go into that next time.